is Teena, and today it's going to be a very different video. As you can see from the title, it's going to be questions girls are afraid to ask boys. So I have invited three of my friends. They do a podcast together. We have Daniel Moynihan, Justin Carino, and Jaco De Leon. So I'm pretty lucky to have them here for the first episode because I think it's going to be interesting to hear from their point of view. Alam ko, most of the times men are very hard to read and sometimes it's tough communicating with them. But maybe from these boys, we can have a clearer perspective on what goes through their head about things that we worry about. So nagtanong ako sa Instagram ko, questions that you would like me to ask them. And let's just say I got a pretty good amount of questions. So I'm just going to have them in a call and we'll start in a bit.
Oh, hi, if you're listening to this clip, this is our interview. Well, we are being featured on Teena Arches' vlog, YouTube channel ba? What's it called again?
Pornhub chart.
Pornhub. So follow Pornhub.
Lagot!
Ikaw, Teena. Thank you, Teena, for having us on your channel. Parang nire-raid namin yung channel mo, actually.
Which is good. I'm open to being raided.
Ano ba yan?
So basically, I invited Daniel because I'm trying to look for guy friends to answer majority of what women wants to know about men.
Guy friend, boyfriend?
Well, friend.
Ay, grabe.
It's a whole different vlog. So I put up a post and I just made them ask whatever questions. I told them not to hold back and they did not. Okay. So in no particular order.
Oh, so we're starting. Here we go.
Pass.
So the first question is, nag-uulit ba kayo ng brief?
Nag-uulit ba kayo ng...
Side A, side B ba to?
Ito yung question. Aircon ba yung room?
Yan!
Yes.
No, I think the answer is always, as much as possible, syempre, you don't. I think nangyari yan like once or twice. It's because wala ka na talagang magamit. But if
Exactly. You know
yeah,
what?
but you know what? Guys are very hygienic in that way. Yung side A, side B, I feel is such a myth eh. For guys,
Yeah, it's not comfortable. Side B is not comfortable also. So it's why would
and
you...
it's weird.
Walang
Kasi,
pocket.
no, may ribbing kasi on the outside, di ba? Basta it's weird. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah, it's odd.
like,
Yeah, so short answer is if
no.
you really need to.
If you need it, I don't think there's
like, during this quarantine, diba, for a while, all of the laundries were closed.
Yeah.
So you're like, now what do I do?
No, ano lang eh.
I've been
Actually, it's more
hand-washing.
extended usage, if ever. I think most guys actually change as much as they can. Ako, I shower twice a day. No, I don't know if that's just me.
But not all guys kasi do that.
Really?
So,
Name some. Just kidding.
I cannot.
Joke lang. Danny daw.
I cannot name for Makahabulin po ako, Char. So another shallow question.
Shallow pa pala to.
It's super scratching the surface. Ito na lang. Why do men ghost?
Ooh.
That's anyone want to take it muna?
You see, this social phenomenon is not something that I would say Jaco and I can answer because we didn't catch the whole ghosting thing. Like, we were already in relationships when ghosting became a thing. I think the potential ghoster here would be Danny.
No, but even without the term, it's still being done from like years and years ago.
Actually.
I think it goes both ways. I mean, I've experienced it on my end, right? Like, and I think the reason why people do it, I don't know, there are people who are just unreliable in when it comes to being there. You know, like they just automatically disappear as soon as they get what they need or they get their fix or whatever. Or they don't like the responsibility of a more complex relationship. You know what I mean?
Yun, that's it. That's the one right there.
Yeah.
For me, like now I'm thinking I have ghosted. It's not because of the lack of that person. It's the insecurity on my part.
Correct.
As to why I ghosted. For all the times I've ghosted, which isn't a lot, it's more of I stopped talking to the person because I felt that I wasn't good enough for that person and they could find someone better.
Can I just weigh in on this just a little bit? I feel like ghosting happens when you don't define the relationship. Like,
Correct.
because it's like kapaan yun eh, diba? You're like, okay, so what? Do we like each other or do we not? Are we just flirting or is this like a
It's more
relationship?
common nowadays.
Why do people ghost? It's because maybe it wasn't defined in the first place, and
That's actually a good point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Although the ones that I ghosted, it was defined. I was clear that I liked them and stuff like that.
So why? Tell us why. This is
Because when you get to know them better and you realize realize how great they are and how not great you are. Well, also because back in that time, I didn't really have a lot of respect for myself. And that's me being super honest.
Self-love, maganda ka, period.
And I found a lot of that respect during this lockdown, to be honest. But yeah, so it was more of like me feeling inadequate. And even though I was very clear that I liked that person, I still eventually stopped talking to them because of that.
Did she message you and was like, "Oy, ano ba? Ghost mo ako ah?"
It was just kind of like a mutual konting pa konti ng pa konti hanggang wala na.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much what...
naisip. Ay dahan-dahan.
No, but that's basically what ghosting is, diba? Basically, it just disappears all of a sudden. And I think that kind of relationship that has been around for forever. I think now lang we've defined it as ghosting. And so anyone na biglang, whether may red flag ka, some people have their own red flags and that's why you're like, you know what, I'm not gonna pursue this at all. So some people leave and now they're like, oh yeah, all of a sudden I was ghosted, diba? So I mean, it goes both ways. There are people like Danny who feels like, you know, the other person was better. There are people who, you know, who felt the other person had red flags.
Yeah.
Diba? So it depends on the reason, but dati ang pinaka-issue na is like when they break up via text eh. Like, na yun, parang they just disappear na lang, parang ganun. Yun nga eh, tama si Justin. I think biggest thing that just really defines it is because people never defined it in the first place. And
not
so
being defined.
So I guess back then, if you had to put a name to it, it would just be, it just wasn't working out and things fell through naturally.
Yeah.
That's
So Teena, have you ever ghosted anyone?
I've been ghosted last year. Okay.
Have you ghosted anyone?
Next question.
may hugot kasi dito. Maybe as we go down this list.
I am not a boy, so I don't think I should answer.
Okay. I see you. Okay.
Okay, moving on.
To all of Teena's viewers, kasi may context dito na hindi pa natin sinasabi.
Story time.
But maybe
Next
for
question
another
natin
video.
yan.
Next question, Daniel.
Next question.
Raise your hand when you wanna talk. Joke lang. Bakit kayo aamin, tapos ay kaming mga babae yung manliligaw or manunuyo?
Paano yung question?
Pwedeng English kasi medyo konyo kami masyado.
What they wanna know is like when a guy would be the first one to show interest, but then in the end, it's the girl yung naghahabol. When you were the one who opened the idea of a thing.
Could you read her question again?
I have so much to say anyway.
Sabi, bakit kayo aamin tapos kaming mga babae yung manliligaw? That's what she asked.
Oh, okay. It does happen more often than not. Na guys would be the ones doing it. I mean, I've again, it happens both ways. Again, it's when things are not properly defined. Na parang that's when all these kind of crazy things come in, and then misunderstandings and all that. And that's why minsan ako, I believe at least, when you get into a relationship, kailangan talaga there's a clear definition of it.
Yeah.
Not aminan lang na, hindi, I like you, tapos biglang maghahabol si girl, di ba? Parang yun yung sinasabi nila. Parang umamin na si guy na okay, tapos biglang hindi. I think there are people that are just not, I don't know, that's just not nice.
But there's a lot of guys who do that too, ha?
No, a lot of guys. No, I think
in the gray area, so they can have palusot na, well, I never asked you to be my girlfriend anyway.
No, I know. That's what I was saying. Parang there are more guys that I know that do that. Like I think I know a lot of guys that like being in that gray area, you know, and I don't think that's a nice. I don't think it's nice at all.
Actually, short on you guys kasi they're good boys. So I'm not sure you're gonna get what you wanna hear.
I mean, there are people, parang there are two things to that. We came during a time na MU was the main thing, diba? Like MU.
Yeah.
So MU was like the gray area, diba? In a way, na walang definition, walang anything. Pero biro mo may term kami for it, MU. O MU kami. So in a way, there is that sort of, not naman agreement, but a little bit of that. Hindi siya undefined. Whether you fall into the gray area or you force yourself into the gray area, I think yun yung issue. Yung issue is like people who really want to be in the gray area. Minsan you don't expect it.
Yeah, Teena.
Danny, maraming Danny ko.
Grabe yung landian dito eh. Ito, while Jacko was talking, they were like, yun. Gray area.
Yeah, alam mo, dapat si Danny yung sumagot nito eh.
The question again?
Bakit daw ang guys, aamin sila sa girl, type kita eh.
Okay, I remember na. I've learned a lot about feminine and masculine energy. And it really revolves around how you were supposed to be as a man and how you're supposed to be as a woman, right? And masculine energy is all about the hunt, right? Like whether it be hunting for food, for survival, or hunting for a potential partner in life, our masculine energy is to and then get the prize. And so whenever trying to pursue a woman, the natural way of doing it is to hunt and hunt and hunt until you get it. Also, on the opposite spectrum, what women look for are anchors. Because women are like very emotional beings. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but based on my observation, again, this is a generalization. There are outliers, but most women are emotional beings, right? And you need find a partner that can be your anchor, someone who can hold you down, and when you're chaotic, they're calm, and vice versa, right? And women actually don't like it when you're predictable,
Yeah.
right? So some men what they do, again, there are outliers. So what I was saying is that when women see that you're predictable, they already lose the excitement, and usually they also lose the interest in the man.
So that's what answered in for the guys na suddenly, even though they started it, parang they lose interest.
No, they do. Some of the men, what they do is they pretend to lose interest so that they keep it exciting for the women. So
So you mean they
in
actually
fact, they
like
are
lose
very interested.
eh.
They are very interested. It's just that they don't want you to lose interest.
Yeah.
So they like gotta chase na rin. So baliktad na. Kasi before, it's just the women who likes the chase. Pero now, nagpapahabol na are men as well.
Yeah.
For me, how many billions of people in the world, right? With regard to pairing, you have billions of different variations of social chemistry and all of these things, right? So it's very hard to generalize. Bakit yung mga lalaki, they'll tell you they like you, tas biglang nawawala sila, tas ako pa yung habol sa'yo. Questions like that are very hard to answer because people are different. So many different people
Right.
are.
And there's also the cultural differences and the generational differences.
So for me, I think just to help this, I'm not sure. I think this person is maybe just venting or trying to be funny or something. But to answer your question, like to help you out in that situation, I would recommend get to know the guy first. What are his main influences in life? What are his favorite comedies in life? Diba? Where does his notion of love and courtship come from? Then you can start to decide for yourself, is he being true to his principles and whatnot, or is this guy playing me? So
Yeah, I think to add to Justin, like we are living in a generation now na we get to meet people at face value, and then we never really delve into who they are as people. And you could see a lot of dating apps na the first thing that you do is you try to match on looks, right? Or whatever. From there, you try to talk. So I guess talking is good because you're getting to know
Yeah.
the person.
It reveals how you should be in the relationship by
But
getting
there for both guys and girls, people put their best foot forward on the most of the time. Once you get to know the person, then you see these red flags. Pero may mga people kasi na parang they feel pressured na to stick around. Even though it's a person to person thing. It's not really a general guy thing or a girl thing, and there are generational differences. And now a lot of the guys are more emotional than they were in the past. There are a lot of guys
That's
who are
true.
reaching out into their emotions, diba? And girls are also having a lot more empowerment. So I think it's gonna change. I think Justin has the right idea na get to know the person, diba? Then you would know. Then you would know
they're
kung
a
okay ba o
fit for
hindi.
you, right? Don't be afraid to rock the boat
Correct.
and to see the red flags for what they are.
Yeah.
So that when you know if that's something you don't want, you can already end it.
I think more people are desperate now eh. So they just ignore. That's why women still chase men. It's true. Because even though they see the red flags that they left you already, they ghosted you. I speak for myself.
No, and I think what, when I hear a lot of these stories, I always tell people nga parang what, these are decisions, diba? There are points that you don't make the decision that you feel, oh, I'm not making a choice, I'm forced to do this. No, I mean at the end of the day, any agreement is a decision that you have to make for yourself, diba? Is this guy, as Danny said, you see the red flags, it's up to you whether you are going to accept that or not. No one's perfect, diba? So there are red flags na you can tolerate my suggestion is always like, if it's something that really would pull you down as a person, just don't bother. It's really
Yeah,
different.
that's right.
Different.
Funny how your answers are already answering some other questions. I'm
No,
gonna
okay lang, okay lang. I think it's a
Okay.
discussion naman eh. So we can
Pero
go.
diba, I mean, these are things talaga that are running. Because I can also speak for myself. Now when they ask this, I'm also like, oh, nga no, nga no. Some here are like, pero I'm gonna leave that for the last na lang.
later. No problem.
Eto, would you date a single mom?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I'm married now, so obviously it's a different answer. But back then, I mean, I don't see a reason
Not to.
not to.
No, because I wouldn't be able to support
The child.
Kumbaga, if I was financially stable
Stable,
enough
yeah.
to support both of them, hell yes.
There are
Real-
those na ayaw talaga. There are those
Yeah,
na-
I know someone na ayaw talaga kasi parang they want the first kid nila is to be theirs, not somebody else.
Yeah.
No, that's not the reason. It's more of because I want to be able to give them the life they deserve.
Daniel single, guys. Benenta. Taken na po si Justin and si Jack.
Binugaw mo naman ako bigla.
Ayaw mo ba?
Pwede naman.
Okay, next question. Does weight matter?
Did it matter, Tina?
Ay!
I was there before! Shut up!
Teka. I mean, for the sake of Tina's fans and Tina's viewers.
Be honest though, ah. Don't, porket be honest.
No. Danny, can you expound on that?
Ano, sabihin na ba natin?
comment?
Well, I think it's obvious. Ano sabihin na natin?
Dali, Danny, go.
Since it's Tina's channel, let it come from the lion's mouth.
He was my first MU. Okay, I was 12. He was
Ladies and gentlemen,
That's what it is.
Sound effects naman dyan.
Danny was your first?
MU.
MU. Oh my.
I was 12, okay? And that's how he introduces me to people. Guys, this is my first love. First love? Parang wait lang. We were 12 and 14. Ang bigat
Yeah.
naman nun. Sabi niya, she broke my heart.
Yeah, she ghosted me, guys. Tapos tatanong-tanong ka.
Kaya nga kinakarma ako, di ba? Sabi ko nga, di ba? Char, joke lang. I don't believe in karma, guys.
No, but now we're really good friends, so it ended
Yeah,
up well, I guess.
But to answer, Danny.
Be honest, it's
No,
okay.
it didn't matter. There are a spectrum of factors. There's looks, there's weight, there's everything, right? But it
Correct.
depends on you. If the mix of those factors are enough for you, then that's it.
Yeah.
As long
Yeah,
as you're
and-
happy.
Ako sa akin, the only weight that matters is pag pinaghintay ka.
Ah.
Yan lang. But other than that, Danny, he said it best. There are so many factors. So it's not really like, oh wait, no. Diba? Like there are people who do put that as a high priority. Na when they, parang ano, yun ang red flag nila, which I think is very, anong tawag sa ganun?
Shallow?
Ang shallow. Yeah, ang shallow ng ganun na you put looks as your
Actually-
as your main. I mean,
Mm-mm.
obviously as a attraction sense, you know, obviously you have looks in the mix, diba? All of that. I mean, this is why the dating apps are based on your face first, diba, before they go there. So there is part of that is important in that sense, but I think it's kind of shallow if that's the reason on why you don't like people. What if kunwari okay kayo, nag-click kayo, so you're gonna be like, ayoko kasi she's this or that. Diba? Parang yung red flag mo is looks. Diba? Parang ang babaw lang.
There are some, and
But there are
Actually,
some.
you know
there are
what?
some.
You know what? I've just to add to this real quick, like what I heard from one of the online mentors that I'm listening to right now said, women are born, men are made. Women are born, men are made. Usually, men are attracted on looks. Then they get to know the person and that solidifies it. Women are attracted on personality. And then the looks is the cherry on top. If you're a woman, you're gorgeous, you're pretty well set in life. If you've got a great personality, you're really good, right? But if you're a man, you've got a great personality, you're pretty much set in life. But if you build your body and you build your looks even more, then you're really good. You know what I mean? So yun.
facts.
I kind of agree with that. I remember Danny before telling me that he was a little conscious about like yung mga crushes niya sobrang out of his league and stuff like that. And then I said, I said, dude, like, have you looked at your Facebook feed lately? Do you know how many super gorgeous women end up with your average looking guys? Because it seems, at least to Danny's point, no, that it seems to be more important, you know, who the guy is and what his personality is and what he can offer, right? At the end of the day, kasi it's both. It's what is the person looking for? What am I looking for the other person to offer me? Let's sabihin natin, we have a guy who meets a girl. The girl is not in the weight class that he'd prefer. But let's say his main priority is, I want a spiritual partner. I want a partner who just loves to read the Bible and I can learn from and grow with. Parang ganon. Then after a while, that's what becomes more attractive.
And it changes over time. As
Yeah.
you age, you do look for something else. So girls, for
True.
example, generalizations, of course, when I was in high school was like, quote unquote, the pretty girls, the popular girls, they look for the bad boys. Yung mga ganyan, di ba? When they get older, they look for someone that can provide.
Yeah.
And that becomes more important than looks itself. If you're a good guy, you just have to wait it out and you better yourself. Whatever happens naman, as long as you're better than who you were yesterday, you'll always find someone naman. Ako kasi, there are things na very shallow to me. But I'm again, like I also have my shallow tendencies, diba? So,
Yeah.
ano lang talaga, it's what are you looking for? And I guess we go back to the idea na to each. Ay, hello, cat. Sorry, my cat.
Hi, Harry.
Hey, Harry.
Sorry. But that's true. And I think because men really figure out what they want later then. So.
And minsan some guys don't think with their heads. You know what I mean? Or they think,
I think with the other head.
There are some guys that know already what they want from a very young age. Very rare, but there are some guys out there. But majority of them are still learning.
Yeah.
We're all learning.
Psychologically speaking, there are people that look for like guys that look Harry. There are guys that look for like someone who's like their parent, diba? Like that's why you have the Oedipus complexes and the opposite one, Electra complex, diba? So psychology has really gone into this for the longest time. It's just nowadays na syempre people are like, no, that is not true. We cannot generalize and all this stuff. But there are a lot of studies on it, how people perceive it to be. But ako sa akin, at the end of the day, kanya-kanya yan eh.
True.
And also, I'm gonna add about from my, I know I'm not a guy, pero because of the question, I can say something because I'm plus size. But you know what, girls? There are some guys who actually really love that. Just be patient because there's somewhere out there. Maybe not, so here in the Philippines, slowly, they're starting to appreciate women of all sizes.
Thick women.
Some guys really actually prefer that over skinny. So
yeah. I mean, imagine this. There was a time in history where that is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Malaman.
Diba? Like I don't know, is it the Renaissance? But eventually, like whatever's fashionable for as whatever's uso as what is beautiful. And now, yun nga, you're correct. There's a lot of the term thick with 2 C's became a thing, diba? Like because nga, that is what a lot of guys are looking into na. Ayaw nila yung uber skinny.
Yeah.
Diba?
Before having a fat ass was a negative thing, and now it's like, oh,
no. Honestly, just have confidence in yourself and in what you do. As long as it doesn't impede on like your health or whatever, then there's always someone out there who would be for you.
Okay.
Okay, next question.
Virgin or experience? Does nipple color matter?
Oh.
Do you guys prefer shaved, trimmed, or natural?